Share the project. So how do you connect? I'll give you the link. Just click the link and goes through your Canto data. And check whether your root is under. He's psychology like very nice Bhagavad Gita perspective for everything.
I gave class the other day. He did not translate that. What's his name? Sujitendra didn't translate. They had another boy translating.
Yeah. I don't know where maybe he was busy. Yeah, maybe he was busy. Maybe he was not there, maybe he was traveling or something. Not sure.
But he still has a shop there.
He still has a shop.
Sells cloth there.
It's called Matchless Gift. It's called Matchless Gift. It has a lot of...
His brother also died at the time of
Yes, his brother tried to save and died.
Huh?
He tried to save them, but he died.
Tried to save them, right?
But he died.
Yeah, he could swim,
but he also died.
He drowned. Yeah, that was really terrible.
That was the maybe biggest flood. Was there any more big flood after that? That was the biggest flood I think in Mayapur that happened. After that, there was never that.
Yeah, we didn't have a flood.
Yeah.
We had floods.
We had floods, but not as big as, like, no one dying. Like, the recent flood I was here, nothing happened.
Yeah. I was also We had fun.
We had fun too.
Yeah. Going in boat.
We had fun in the recent flood. We had fun in the recent flood, like going with a boat to the temple and...
Well, that's how they were going in the boat, right?
Yeah, but this flood was less water, less risky, like...
You can even go by walk, but just to keep yourself dry, you can take a boat.
We did also go by walk above Chakra. There was like bridges from one building to another.
Yeah. It was my birthday during floods.
Oh wow.
I went to temple in a boat and I was praying and suddenly we see from Ganga there is a snake which came inside the temple. So everywhere was snake, these water snakes. So when Mataji, she was scared. So she just flipped like that to the snake. The snake came on my neck.
Wow!
Like a birthday gift.
Garland.
Did these water snakes bite?
No, water snakes, they don't bite and they're not poisonous. But they're scary to look at.
Because this is big,
Yeah.
big and black.
Yeah?
Yeah, like big.
Yeah.
Proper this much. Yeah, had fun this floods.
Yeah, the land is very low.
And the area that this happened, the water was deep and there was a lot of current. So the Ganga water had a big, I don't know how to say it. Yeah, there was current. Yeah, big current, yeah.
Sankarshan, he's also Prabhupada's relative.
Okay.
Yes.
You know Sankarshan, the one who was in Arogya Bhavan before.
Sorukan. Jagannath.
Okay, I did not know.
His proper disciple.
Sachimata died.
Yes.
Right? But thank Krishna. He's Prabhupada's relative. Okay, we're up to text number 8. Text number 8. Divisions of generalization and specification, such as nationality and individuality, are the imaginations of persons who are not advanced in knowledge. People.
What does it mean by generalization and specification?
Divisions of generalization, well, they give examples. Divisions like nationality. Oh, this person's Indian. Or this person's a Bengali. And they're like that. Individuality. This person's from this community and like that. People identify, You go to America, who's an American? Well, he looks like an American, They're Chinese, or they're Indian, or they're African, or whatever. But you could say, oh, they're American. So many different races there in America. And so, now in India also, you got more people coming here in India. Of course, a lot of people are going out also.
Yes.
Especially different Muslims are coming in to India from different places. They're coming here. So this is all imaginations. We belong to somebody may be a Muslim in this life, next life maybe a Hindu, or someone may be a Hindu, next life maybe a Muslim. You don't know. And we identify with these different kinds of designations. But these designations are also temporary. People can change their nationality, they change their sex. I was distributing books one day and I went into this one place. I was talking to this young lady and she told me, I used to be a man. She had an operation to become a woman.
Oh God.
And she told
in the last life she's talking.
And she's very good looking, And she told me the other ladies don't like me using the restroom with them. I have a problem with the other ladies. So people can change their sex, they can do all these things. So the body is only the dress. We're all individual souls. But as Prabhupada said here, the living entity desires to act in forgetfulness of his original identity. And he is accepting different positions in material bodies. He's thinking in terms of the body. And whichever kind of body you put into, you become attached to it. You become happy there sometimes. Like Brihaspati put Indra in the body of a pig.
When did this happen?
Huh?
When did Brihaspati put Indra into the body of a pig? When did this happen? When did this pastime?
When did it happen? Well, it's in the Bhagavatam. It tells you, it's told in the Bhagavatam that
In coming cantos.
Okay.
Brihaspati wanted to teach Indra a lesson, so he put him in the body of a pig.
And he got it.
And so he was a pig. And then after some time, the Guru came, Brihaspati came, and said, okay, now you come back. And he said, oh, I like it here. I have my pig wife. We have our pig children. And we get our pig food every day. We become big and fat and healthy, eating so much pig food. And so Brihaspati said, oh, you want to stay, is it? Okay, go and bring the butcher. So they brought the butcher with a big knife. And the butcher came and said, where's the big fat pig? And then Indra went, oh no, take me with you. Because the butcher's going to cut him up. So the thing, every situation you're in, you're thinking, very nice, I'm happy here. So the birds, the little birds in their nests, every day I see them. They're happy, a little bit happy. And the dog, there's and same way with us. All right, now Sukadeva Goswami is going to speak. Narada and Gira have enlightened Chitraketu, so Chitraketu became hopeful with knowledge. Wiping his shriveled face with his hand, the king began to speak. And he wants to know who you are. He said, you know everything as it is. You are the greatest of all great personalities. You're very elevated in awareness. And he talks about different people who are elevated. He says Brahmanas who are exalted to the position of Vaishnavas. So he said Vaishnavas, the topmost Brahmanas are Vaishnavas, the most dear servants of Krishna, sometimes dressed like madmen, just to benefit materialists. We're always attached to sense gratification. They wander the globe trying to give us knowledge. And then he names so many great souls. He said, I've heard about persons wandering the earth to instruct us, to give us knowledge, to help us to get out of ignorance. And he mentions, he says, Sanat Kumar, Narada, and he mentions Ripu, then he says Angira. So he mentions both the names, and he goes on, he mentions many names. And we talk about Jnana Hetavaha. Jnana Hetavaha, meaning very learned persons who preach all over the world. So Jnana Hetavaha. These are all great souls wandering the earth, trying to distribute knowledge. Without this knowledge, human life is wasted. Without this knowledge, you're in the category of animals. And then Prabhupada quotes Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, 4 kinds of people who never surrender. And then he says also, Yatyatma Buddhi Gunape Chidatuke. Ignorance, the bodily concept of life. It's a practice. On this planet, Goloka, everyone is in ignorance. And they think there's no need of self-realization. They think there's no separate existence of the body and soul. So all the Brahmanas listed here, being devotees, travel all over the earth to awaken Krishna consciousness in the hearts of the foolish materialists. And Prabhupada says this word Panchashika is also important. Panchashika means one who is liberated from the conceptions of Annamaya, Pranamaya, Jnanamaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, and who is perfectly aware of the subtle coverings of the soul is called Panchashika.
2050.
Panchashika. Right? We're at text number, what is it?
2015.
Okay. 15, yeah, text 15. So that's one of the questions in the chapter.
Yes.
Panchashika. So means you should be liberated from the conceptions of the different coverings of Brahman, right? Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. And aware of the subtle coverings of the soul. So, Maharaj Chitraketu requests Narada and Angira, because you're great personalities, you can give me real knowledge. I'm as foolish as a village animal, like a pig or dog. I am immersed in the darkness of ignorance. Please ignite the torch of knowledge to save me. So Prabhupada said, this is the way to receive knowledge. We have to humble ourselves before the devotee. One must submit at the feet of great personalities who can give us transcendental knowledge. Tasmad Guru Prapadita Jignasu Shreyatamam. You must approach a spiritual master. And so that the Guru must not be approached for material benefit. Says one should not approach a Guru just to cure some disease or receive some miraculous benefit. This is not the way to approach the Guru. Of course, that was common before, when the Sai Baba was there. Very common thing. But we should try to understand the transcendental science of spiritual life. Many bogus gurus who display magic to their disciples, and many foolish disciples want to see magic. These disciples are not interested in spiritual life to save themselves from ignorance. And then Prabhupada said, this gives the definition of the Guru. Right? He opens our eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. Okay, then text 17, Angira is going to speak first. Angira is saying, when you desired to have a son, I approached you. I am Angira Rishi, gave you this son. And for this Rishi, as for this Rishi, he is the great sage Narada, the direct son of Brahma. And then he tells the king, you are an advanced devotee of the Supreme Lord. And to be lamenting for the loss of something material is not proper for a person like you. Persons who are advanced in spiritual knowledge, to be affected by material loss and gain is not at all desirable. So then talk about the word Mahapurushaya or Mahapurushika. Mahapurushika, meaning one who's always engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord. So Sukadeva Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit are sometimes addressed as Mahapurushika. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching like the Goswamis, Tandara Charana Seva Bhakta Sanivas. we should always live in the association of devotees. Janami janami hoye abhilas. You need the association of devotees and engage in the service through parampara. Devotees should not aspire for material profit or lament for material loss. So Maharaj Chitraketu was an advanced devotee, but he'd fallen in the darkness of ignorance. He was lamenting for the body, so they came to advise him. He must have been an advanced devotee. He must have had a lot of pious activities in order to become the emperor, rule the world, and enjoy so much opulence. But at the same time, he had some kind of karma which did not allow him to have a child. Other people like Rishabdev had 100 sons. Lord Rishabdev was also emperor ruling the world. He had 100 sons. And here, Chitraketu could not have one son. So then, Prabhupada talks about the prayer to the Supreme Lord, Namo Brahmana Devaya. This verse states, Brahmanyo Bhagavad Bhakto Nivasaditam Ahasi. Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma, for a devotee, self-realized soul, there is no cause for material jubilation or lamentation. He is always transcendental to conditional life. There's no cause for material jubilation or lamentation. Well, sometimes devotees will lament, sometimes things happen, and devotees will lament. Feel very sorry about things happening. No, devotees also have feelings. Cannot just be an impersonal rock, cold, hard, and unaffected by things. Sometimes some things happen which are very unpleasant, and definitely you feel affected by them. Definitely when Srila Prabhupada departed, we felt very sorry. Similarly, when Bhakti Charu Swami departed, it was very sorry, very sad. Bhakti Charu Swami, of course, he did not depart here. But when we got news of his departure, it was very sad, it was a great shock.
This says cause only for material jubilation or lamentation. So if it's spiritual, devotees can lament and be jubilated, right? In the purport, the last sentence says that there's no cause for material jubilation or lamentation. So if it is a spiritual cause, a devotee can be jubilant and lament.
Spiritual cause? Yes, well, the gopis lamented when Krishna left them, right? It was very painful. The devotees, Mother Yashoda cried for days. She was crying endlessly. She could never stop crying after Krishna left. And so, that kind of... And the gopis certainly also felt greatly pained, the separation from Krishna. Lord Krishna leaving them. Just like Lord Chaitanya leaving home, Mother Sachi left there with Vishnupriya. So yeah, it would be painful for them. They would lament. So material jubilation or lamentation, that's something. So then Angira says about when he first came there, why he did not give instruction to Maharaj Chitraketu in the very beginning, when he first come to Maharaj Chitraketu's house. You know, not Maharaj Chitraketu would definitely feel like that. You already came to my home, why didn't you tell me all these things in the beginning? You know, why now? So
was material.
Angira says, I could have given you transcendental knowledge, but I saw that your mind was absorbed in material things. So his mind was not ready to receive spiritual knowledge. So I gave you only a son. Your mind was absorbed in material things. So why should he try to give spiritual knowledge to him? You know, he won't be able to. The king was so absorbed; he wanted so much to have the son. He's not ready to receive. He's not ready to hear spiritual knowledge because his mind was absorbed in material things. So we shouldn't preach to the faithless persons, right? You have to create faith first of all.
Maharaj, in the case of Mrigari, if you see, then Narada Muni directly gives instruction to Mrigari, stating that if you continue killing animals like this half killed, then you will definitely go to hell. So Narada Muni immediately gives instruction in that point of time.
Who gives them instruction?
Narada Muni Maharaj.
He gave him instructions. Yeah, but before he gave him instructions, he let him see the hell. Narada Muni showed Mrigari the hell he was going to get. And he showed all the animals who he'd been trapping and torturing, that they were all going to get him and repay him for all the pain he'd given them. Then he let Mrigari see what was going to happen to him. Narada had that power.
And also, didn't he say to Mrigari that go and ask your family if they will share your sinful reactions? And the family member said no. Did that?
Well, I never heard this before.
Okay.
This story called Ratnakar, person, Ratnakar.
Not really.
So not
It's a
only
different person's story. Apparently I'm wrong.
yeah, Ratnakar is a different person.
Ratnakar.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know that name. Anyway, that's why Mrigari got instruction. After Narada Muni told him what was going to happen to him, and he became okay, you know. And yeah, he understood. So Angira then says to Chitraketu, he said, now you're experiencing the pains of a person who has children. You're experiencing the misery of a person who has a child. The suffering which you're going through, this is what people go through, bringing up children. There'll be so many pains. things, there'll be so much troubles. So, all of the things which you value, all your opulences and all of these, it's all temporary. But all of these things are causes of fear, illusion, lamentation and distress. And they're like a Gandharva Nagar, a non-existent palace that one imagines to exist in the forest. They are impermanent. They're no better than illusions, dreams, mental concoctions. So all of these material things, they're just like some dream. We're thinking these things will give us protection, but they cannot. We find a favorable situation, but how long will it be favorable for? After some time, you have to move again. You have to give it up. You take another body. In this way, your material miseries continue. We have to be situated in our spiritual identity and serve the Supreme Lord as a devotee. So Narada Muni and Angira are giving this instruction to Chitraketu. And now Angira said, these visible objects like wife, children, property are like dreams and mental concoctions. What we see has no permanent existence. Sometimes it is seen, sometimes not. Everything material is a mental concoction because it is sometimes visible and sometimes not. And we dream about tigers and snakes. So the whole material world is like that. It's a creation of our minds. We come to enjoy material things. And that's why we receive different bodies, right? One of the questions there is, why do we get different bodies? Which question?
Question number 6.
It's about why we take different bodies, right?
Yes.
So here, it's mentioned here, this is why we receive different bodies. We have come to enjoy material resources. By mental concoction, we discover many, many objects of enjoyment. Because our minds are absorbed in material things. We desire so many different achievements. We want to be the chief minister. We want to be a politician. We want to be temple president. We want to be, so many desires. So we get the advantages we desire. Karmana daiva netrena. We get what we desire. So this is the reason why we're suffering in the material world. Okay, text 25. Angira's preaching heavy philosophy, right? What's he talking about?
He's talking.
Threefold miseries.
Yeah, the threefold miseries. Why do we get threefold miseries? It comes through the mind. Through the mind, the living entity suffers three kinds of miseries.
Yes.
And we're identifying with the body, the subtle body, the mind. So the body, this body is the source of all miseries. Lord Rishabhdev told his sons, what's the verse?
Nunam pramatta kurte vikarma yat indriya pritaya apnoti.
Well, that's that chapter, but there's a different verse. Asanapi kleshada asadeha nunam pramata kurute vikarma indriya pritaya apnoti.
The sadhamani yathartha asanapi
kleshada asadeha. Right?
Yes.
Lord Rishabhdev said, Nunam pramada kurute vikarma. Because of material desires, we are performing many sinful activities. Vikarma. Nunam pramada, we're mad. Madness, mad for sense gratification. And that's why we perform many vikarmic activities. Yet indriya pritaya aprinoti, because of our uncontrolled senses, we're performing, engaging in so many activities. Then nasadhu manye, so that is not good, my friend. Nasadhu manye asanapi klesha asadeha. That is not good. On account of all this activity, you have to take another birth. You have to take another material body. So this is the problem. This is all material existence is all about this. Taking one body and then doing so many things, and then take another body and then another miserable situation. Material existence. Prabhupada talks about the motor car. You get a new motor car, but then you crash the car, or somebody crashes the car, and when they crash the car, oh no, you know, you're suffering so much. The mind suffers. Through the mind, the living entity suffers. There used to be ambassador, right? In India, we had always ambassador cars. And the man is in the ambassador car, he's saying, out of my way, rickshaw, out of the way, I am ambassador, get out of the way, beep, 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 out of the way, rickshaw, I am ambassador speaking, you know. We identify with the car. We're thinking, I am this ambassador car.
Maharaj, in our childhood we had a joke. If a lorry hits an ambassador, the lorry gets more damage than the ambassador.
A lorry gets more damage than an ambassador?
They say the ambassador is so strong.
Ambassador is so strong. Yeah, well, you know, in the times of the ambassador cart, you got a bump. You could take the hammer and knock out the bumps. Nowadays, it's all plastic, you know, you have to buy a new part.
Yeah, more expensive.
Yeah, it's all big money, you know, you got to replace the part. It's just some plastic thing, you know. The lighter, so they use less petrol, you know, because the cars are a bit lighter than they used to be. But they're easily damaged, and then you have to get a whole new part. You can't just repair the damage, you know. Before, you could just repair the thing, you know, tap it and bring out the bumps. But not now. And so, very nice car, the car is smashed, the mind suffers, and then the living entity suffers. You hit me! You hit me! No, I didn't hit you, I hit the car. Yeah. No, you hit me! Out of the way, I am ambassador. Yeah. We identify with the car. You hit me!
You hit.
The same way we identify with the body. So the mind is the center because the mind creates all these things. The mind is creating this identification, identifying with the car. You hit me.
Also identifying with the mind? Or can we identify with the mind also? What about you hurt me with words? What identification is that?
Well, yeah, whatever's in the mind is like the driver, you know? Right? The mind is the driver of the chariot. Or the mind is the reins, is it? The senses are the horses, and the mind is like the reins on the chariot. And so the reins on the chariot, they're meant to control the horses. But you have to have a good driver. Driver is supposed to be the intelligence. Intelligence is higher than the mind. Intelligence is meant to direct the mind. But often we don't listen to our intelligence. The intelligence tells us, you can do this, you can do that. The intelligence will say, don't do this, don't do that, The mind will say, rob the bank, get some money, rob the bank. Intelligence will say, don't do that, don't do that. We have to listen to the intelligence. Intelligence is next to the soul. So the soul also knows what's going on in the mind and the intelligence. But we're very much influenced by the mind. We have to learn to control the mind. Prabhupada said, when the material object is struck, the mind is affected and we suffer. So the bodily conception is influencing the mind. The mind is thinking. Generally the mind is desire. So many desires are there in the mind. Desires to enjoy. What is the question about that? There's a question about the mind and
the suffer. Explain the connection between the mind and suffering.
And suffering, okay. The mind and suffering.
You just said when the mind is affected, we suffer.
Yeah. When the mind is affected, we suffer. And here it says the mind suffers. And through the mind, the living entity suffers.
Yes.
When the car is smashed in a collision, the mind suffers. And through the mind, the living entity suffers.
Because the mind is the center. Mind creates all of these things.
Yeah, the mind is. And then Prabhupada continues, he said that the living entity, it concocts, it creates a material condition with the mind. But matter is destructible. So the material condition causes suffering. Because the nature of the material world is temporary. So we become attached to something in the mind, and then when the thing breaks down, falls apart, we suffer. But when you come to the platform of Brahman, then you're no longer affected by lamentation or hankering. So we have to come to the spiritual platform. Then you can be happy. Then at the end of the purport of 25, it says, the living entity is actually part and parcel of the Supreme Lord and is unaffected by material conditions. But because the mind is affected, the senses are affected, and the living entity struggles for existence within the material world. Right? So because the mind is affected, the senses are affected, and the living entity struggles. In this way, the living entity is suffering in this material world, the three miseries. So Angir is saying, consider the position of the Atma. In other words, try to understand who you are, body, mind or soul. Consider where you have come from, where are you going after giving up this body? Why are you under the control of material lamentation? Try to understand your real position, then you will be able to give up your unnecessary attachment. You will also be able to give up the belief that this material world or anything not directly in touch with the service of Krishna is eternal. Thus you will obtain peace. Right? If we're thinking this material world to be eternal. That is our condition. You know, people are all thinking, I will live forever. My family will become more and more, we will expand more and more, we will all live forever. Nobody's making plans that we're going to die. We're going to leave the world one day and we have to go some other place. Right? We have to plan. So that's why we have to become Krishna conscious. If you want to be peaceful, we have to have some idea about the nature of life, the nature of the world. So Prabhupada writes about how people are just completely ignorant about the goal of life and they're behaving like cats and dogs and they're doing all kinds of sinful activities, jumping about from one body to another. We have to understand we're not the body, but we are the owner of the body. Right? I mean, temporarily, we are the owner of the body. Then we can understand, we should think about the goal of life. But people are not educated to think about that. And they're just working, what? They're working to create a comfortable material atmosphere. We're thinking, well, if I get a nice car, then if I get a nice apartment, and then if I get more money, and then they die. They have to leave it all. So we have to give up faith. We should not keep faith in material things. We have to give up our attachment for them. Then we can be peaceful and sober. But so long as we're attached to material things, we'll never be peaceful. We'll always be in anxiety. Right?
Another question.
Yeah.
This material world is eternal.
Yes.
how can material world be? He said it is temporary, right?
Well, the elements of the material world are eternal.
Oh.
They come together and then but the elements always exist. I gave this house, this building, after some time it will fall apart, but the elements will still be there, right? The motor cars, they run for some time and then they fall apart. But the elements are still there. You know, you can take pieces off them, you can melt the metal and use them for something. So what is the peace formula?
Mokta.
No, here in this chapter, what did they say about peace?
Try to understand who you are.
Give up the belief that this material world or anything in touch with service to Krishna is eternal, thus you will obtain peace. If we understand that anything which is not directly related to Krishna,
I think it's all the points in the translation, no?
Mm-hmm.
It's all the points in the translation that try to understand who you are, consider where you have come from and where you're going to go after giving up this body, why you're under the control of material limitation. And when you understand your real position, you'll be able to give up your necessary attachment, and then you will be you will come directly in touch with Krishna, service to Krishna, and then you will obtain peace.
the last
I think it's the last sentence.
yes,
Is this the last
one must give up his faith in material things and give up attachment for them, then
Yeah.
one will be
But-
sober and peaceful.
They say sages in text 26. So
They
it has
say what?
the question says, what is the peace formula proposed by the sages in text 26? So we can't, I think it's the
Go to the first
translation.
word. Prabhupada is a sage.
Huh?
Sages, two sages.
They're asking us to find the answer in the text, not in the purport.
On the text, not in the book. Who is saying that?
In the question.
In the question it is there.
It
What is
says-
the peace formula proposed by the sages in the text 26?
Oh, in the text.
Plural sages, text.
Proposed by the sages.
So I think the entire translation.
Thus you will attain peace.
Yeah.
So the whole thing. Where have you come from? Where are you going? Why are you under control, limitation? Understand your real position. Give up your unnecessary attachment. Anything not connected with Krishna cannot be eternal. Okay, if that's what it says. Okay, so then Angera takes over and he says, my dear king, receive me attentively. He said, receive from me a mantra which is most auspicious. After accepting it from me in 7 nights, you will be able to see the Lord face to face.
Wow.
Powerful mantra.
Such a blessing.
Wow. If we preach like that, we get a lot of people come to Krishna consciousness. You know, we're telling people, be patient. You know, there's even a quote, Giriraj Swami said, Prabhupada told him, it took him 32 years. Tell people, 32 years! Who's going to be around, you know?
Maharaj, here, Narada is saying within 7 days you can take darshan of the Supreme Lord. So is it that Maharaj Chitrajit was in an advanced level in his previous life as a bhakta? That's why just 7 days?
No, I think he was already advanced devotee in this life.
Yeah, he was already a devotee in this life?
Yeah, because it mentions in the beginning that since he was a good devotee, that's why the kingdom was prosperous.
Well, he was certainly pious, so he was pious, and not necessarily say that he was a good devotee. Yeah?
Somewhere it mentions that.
Does it actually say devotee? Yeah?
I remember here, my dear, in texts 18 to 19, it says, in chapter 15, it says, "My dear king, you are an advanced devotee of the Supreme Personality of God." Just now we covered in text 18 and 19.
Oh, in this text, well, they told Chitraketu that you are an advanced devotee.
Yes.
Yeah? Well, they could have just been encouraging him. Of course, he must have had some qualification to become the emperor of the world. You know, it's a big position. And you don't get that kind of position without having a lot of punya, a lot of power to get into that position. You know, Lord Brahma, he's the most pious living entity. So to become emperor on this planet, to rule the whole world, you have to be definitely. And he went on next life, right? Next, he goes on to be king of the Vijayadaras. And then next, anyway, Narada Muni said, after 7 nights, you'll be able to see the Lord face to face. Prabhupada said, you can see the Lord face to face. What is the qualification? Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochana. He says like that. That is the one qualification to see God. Anyway, this is a mantra. He's giving him a mantra. Of course, it's not Kali Yuga, but it's coming from Narada Muni, and Narada Muni is direct son of Lord Brahma, so very powerful. And Narada Muni tells him, in former days, Lord Shiva and other demigods took shelter of the lotus feet of Sankarshan. So there, again, it's going to direct him to Sankarshan. Now, thus they immediately got free from the illusion of duality and achieved unequaled and unsurpassed glories in spiritual life. You will very soon attain that very same position. So did Narada Muni direct other people to Sankarshan? Vritrasura, of course.
Vritrasura was Sankarshan.
Because this is Chitraketu, so next life is going to be attached to Sankarshan. So Narada Muni sent him to Lord Sankarshan. Didn't send him to Vishnu, he didn't send him to Krishna.
Why like that?
Huh?
Why not to Vishnu and Krishna, and why to Sankarshan?
Maybe he belongs to Sankarshan.
Well, we're told Lord Shiva and other demigods, they're following him. Lord Shiva is also Vaishnava. And Lord Sankarshan is not so different, right? He's the first expansion. There's Krishna, Balaram, then Sankarshan. Balaram expands to Sankarshan, right?
Vasudeva Sankarshan, Pradyumna.
So Sankarshan is there. Very soon we attain that same position. Okay, so not much in that chapter.
Yes.
We finished. Tomorrow we'll go chapter 16. And then on Friday we have to do 2 chapters.
Yes.
And we'll finish here.
Yeah.
Teaching on Friday also, Maharaj.
Friday?
Completing by Thursday?
Friday.
By Friday, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Prabhu, they will complete by Thursday.
No, why? How will you manage that?
I'll just tell you. I'll inform you. I'll inform you. Thank you. 4 days. Yeah, so Maharaj will take to Friday. Okay, but I'll inform you.
Hare Krishna.